Walking on the railroad, I set my booty on the track. I sold this kid with the knapsack, so I snatched my booty back. I said, look at here, partner, you know you can't be me. I'll be the one that ain't too now, and you know it's true. Now move on, I got the fellas jealous cause I flows like none. I got the whole 9, need not back a gun. No need for greed, see it takes then I fades to a young. Sprung on the air that I breathe. You can't conceive how I breathe and I weeps. Here over there may appear some fearful to smear. We're gonna have in abundance. Alright, see, alright, see, alright, did you know that?
Liberalism equals do without guilt, which creates fertile ground for demonic oppression, and it brings forth judgment and the wrath of God.
This shot is from Atlanta, home of Tyler Perry's new historic and massive new movie studio complex. We went behind the scenes at the site that features a dozen sound stages named after black icons in Hollywood. Tyler Perry is a creative force behind 22 movies, 20 plays, 8 TV shows.
So I think of the center of that creative world being located somewhere around Hollywood, out on the West Coast. I've spent a little time out there doing a little bit of business. They're not always receptive to other ideas, to people coming in from the outside. And you're coming in a sense, from way in the outside. You're coming in from Atlanta, Georgia, for goodness sakes. How difficult was it to break into that, really, that clan, that tribe?
You know what was great about it for me is I had this wonderful opportunity.
But before Perry brought Hollywood to Atlanta, this was once Fort McPherson military base, a Confederate stronghold.
The property that slaves built that was once a Confederate army base. Think about the poetic justice in that. The Confederate Army is fighting to keep Negroes enslaved. Enslaved in America, fighting, strategy, planning on this very ground. And now this very ground is owned by me.
I've been working on Tyler Perry's House of Pain for the past several years. We were in season filming new episodes. My boyfriend had a production company that we were working on. We had several deals on the table. My boyfriend is also my business partner. So that definitely made it more challenging. We had tried everything. We'd broken up, we'd gotten back together, we'd broken up again, back together. You know, now we're like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna make this work. The relationship troubles were definitely taking a toll on me mentally, taking a toll on me spiritually, physically, and it just wasn't working. I had come home from working at the studio. We usually had long hours. When I came in after a long day, first thing I had to do is jump in the shower, almost like wash the day off of me. I was washing my face and looked up in the mirror, and floating kind of behind me was this little piece of a cloud floating gently in the mirror over my left shoulder. I wiped my eyes, dried my face off, and I looked at it again, and it was still there. Of course, my initial instinct was, oh my God. I turned around, and I still saw it. It really did kind of freak me out. Am I crazy? Like, what the hell is going on here? I don't know, but I'm gonna close the door and hopefully it'll go away. So probably a couple days passed. I was getting ready for bed and I'd left the light on in the closet. It's a large, walk-in closet. So I had walked to go turn off the light. I walked in and I saw this haze hovering above the top, probably 1 foot section of the closet, covering the ceiling. It was something otherworldly, that it wasn't just fog or steam or something that had logical explanation. It scared the hell out of me. A couple days passed. I just was kind of lying in bed, and over the bed at my boyfriend's house, there is a large mirror on the ceiling of the room. I was laying under the covers. Look up. I could see clearly in the mirror, like this kind of fog formed on the mirror. It wasn't heavy, it wasn't thick, but it was very defined. And the fog formed directly over only my reflection. It started gradually, it started slowly at first, and then it became more and more pronounced. And then it left. I did not tell my boyfriend. I didn't tell anyone really, because I was definitely overwhelmed. It wasn't a coincidence. Seeing all of these different fogs, it got my attention and I knew that it was a connection. Something was going on. I've been working on Tyler Perry's House of Pain for the past several years. We were in season filming new episodes. I had come home from working at the studio. We usually had long hours. It wasn't a coincidence. Seeing all of these different fogs, it got my attention and I knew that it was a connection. Something was going on. I had this sense. I felt like maybe this was someone who was in my family, who had passed, who I had some sort of greater spiritual connection with. I decided to tell my boyfriend. We kind of been going back and forth, and I remember he was sitting in his bed on his computer. He made some kind of joke about something spiritual or supernatural. So I started to go into the rest, but I caught myself because I kind of felt him look at me like, what? The more I talked about it, the more uncomfortable he got. He kind of shut it down so quick that I didn't feel comfortable to say anything more. It didn't feel easy in his home. It didn't feel free. It felt... It's that feeling of, I guess, walking on eggshells.
As you can see, these demonic spirits are trying to separate this couple and destroy their relationship. Because they are not pleading the blood of Christ and keeping the laws of God. demons have been granted access to their lives. The demon subtly reveals itself to the woman first and begins to deceive her, just like the serpent in the garden. But the woman is not the primary target. As the Holy Scriptures state, the Israelite lineage is established through the seed line of the Father. The demonic spirits are aware of this and work tirelessly to cut off the offspring of Israel.
He came home one day, angry. We had some words about the situation. What are you going to do?
I'm trying to make it work.
Immediately, I felt scared. When I tell you, I heard a voice clear as day just say, Keshia, it's time to go.
Are you listening?
It was a crazy moment. And then, at that point, I just felt the sensation of when a warm hand just lays their hand on your shoulder, like a comforting, I'm here.
Keshia, are you listening to me?
And then I heard a voice say,
Baby, it's okay.
Baby, it's okay.
No.
And it was almost instant. I knew that I am protected, I'm safe, I'm not alone. It was a different feeling.
Me. It doesn't seem like you want to be here.
I think my boyfriend was threatened by the change he saw in me. He saw the difference in the way I responded to him. I said, it's time for me to go.
Keshia.
And that's what I did.
Keshia.
And I began packing my things.
Dionysus. He returned to Thebes, where he compelled the women to quit their houses and to celebrate Bacchic festivals on Mount Cithaeron or Parnassus. After Dionysus had thus proved to the Thebans that he was a god, he went to Argos. As the people there also refused to acknowledge him, he made the women mad to such a decree that they killed their own babes and devoured their flesh.
When you examine the overarching themes that saturate Tyler Perry's films, you find dysfunctional relationships are the main focus. Broken homes, shattered families, infidelity, and abuse. The so-called African American man is villainized and blamed for all of this. In Perry's 2010 movie, For Colored Girls, there are 5 major male characters, and 4 out of 5 of them are monsters. One turns out to be a rapist. Another reveals to his wife he's living a secret life as a homosexual. The third is portrayed as a drunken wife-beating maniac who drops his 2 children from a 6-story window, killing them. And of course, there was the habitual liar and cheater. And finally, the 5th man, who was pretty decent, but his wife's womb was made barren from an STD she contracted in her past from a conniving ex-boyfriend. For the global Luciferian brotherhoods, the Israelite woman is not really a problem as long as she is not conceiving male Israelite offspring. This is why many Israelite women are encouraged to pursue education and career over family, lesbian relationships, and abortion.
What is your legacy for your body of work?
You know, the studio is going to be what it is. That's going to be what it is. I tell you what I'm most excited about next is that pulling this next phase off is building a compound, for trafficked women, girls, homeless women, LGBTQ youth who are put out and displaced, and having a compound that is a beautiful place right here on somewhere on these 330 acres where they're trained in the business and they become self-sufficient. They live in nice apartments. There's daycare. There's all these wonderful things.
If you examine where Tyler Perry Studios is located from above, it is not hard to see that it is placed in the center of a spiritual vortex of demonic activity and strongholds. If you travel several miles northeast, you'll find Stone Mountain, the site where the satanic ritual to revive the Ku Klux Klan was performed. The ritual was invigorated by the Hollywood film The Birth of a Nation, and not far from Stone Mountain are the Georgia Guidestones, a monument erected to invoke the gods of population control and eugenics. The surrounding area around Tyler Perry Studios is peppered with military installations, and I'm sure you're aware of the secret relationship between Hollywood, the Pentagon, and the CIA. And of course, you cannot have a movie studio without cemeteries close by.
So when I come to work here, and every black person that comes to work here, they go, oh my God, it's heaven. Here we are, we're represented, everybody's represented, LGBTQ's represented, black, white, gay, straight, whatever, we're all represented, working hand in hand, arm in arm.
In ancient Greece, at the theater of Dionysus, there was a chilling and haunting Greek tragedy written by Euripides. The spirit of this theatrical production still echoes through society and media today. The play was about a powerful enchantress and spellcaster. Toward the end of the play, desperate for revenge against her husband and his new fiancé, she resorts to killing her own 2 sons and poisons her husband's new love interest in order to punish him by cutting off his lineage. Her name was Medea.
I used to dream I stay awake now.
This might be the awakening. This might be the awakening.
The demon god Bacchus was known to cross boundaries between the mortal and divine, the living and the dead.